true face unmasked, the story of Queen Mary's rise as a person. On May 4, 2004 the wedding took place. None of the 2.5 million Danes who saw Mary Donaldson walk down the church aisle will forget the struggle of Crown Prince Frederick to hold back tears. Neither did the foreign viewers. This is better than the Oscars, said an American TV commentator after the wedding. It was time to roll up the sleeves. Now Mary held the title of Crown Princess and had to find her own special tasks and her place in the royal family. However, her initial patronages, which she took upon herself, soon created a somewhat unsuccessful reputation for her. At first, Crown Princess Mary immersed herself in the world of Danish fashion, where she became the patron of the Copenhagen International Fashion Fair and the nest of designers, and on the covers of newspapers and weekly magazines she could often be seen in the front rows of fashion shows. But for many Danes the world of fashion was a distant industry. Choosing a brand proved problematic in the first few years. People started calling her the fashion princess, says Lars Heikki Sorensen, a historian and royal expert. This was not a nickname that could be stylized into fashion, was too narrow, superficial and elitist, explains Lars Hoff Sorensen. Something else had to influence her, and that happened a few years later. In 2007 the Mary Foundation was established, aiming for the well-being of children and young people, including combating bullying and loneliness. Later, she began addressing issues of human rights and women's equality, with a focus also on LGBTQ conditions. But according to the expert, this gave her new freedom of action and greater weight as an advocate for these special causes. She excelled here. One can see the real Mary in many ways, says the photographer, because in an African village residents are not aware of rules and etiquette. When the crown princess arrives, they stand very close to her, stroke her cheek, touch her hair and hand her a child. And you can say that she likes it. It's so great, she says. Young women often tell poignant stories, and several times Crown Princess Mary had tears in her eyes or had to interrupt interviews because she was so touched. Mary is the first Danish queen to be born into society in hundreds of years, but scenes like those in Africa suggest that the royal family could use a bourgeois princess. The public wants royals to reveal more of their humanity, so Mary's bourgeois background is a huge plus. She's more approachable and casual, which will help her fit in with the modern royal family. Photographer Han Giel also mentions that Mary has a professional side. Crown Princess Mary is a dedicated worker, as is acknowledged by the vast majority of royal experts. She has admitted that, in contrast to her husband, who frequently has his speeches prepared for him because he is anxious and clumsy, Crown Princess Mary writes nearly all of her speeches, thinks about each word, and practices them numerous times. Mary Donaldson is long gone, because when Crown Princess Mary goes to official events she always makes sure to provide photographers with the best conditions so they can take a good picture and tell the story at home. But photographers often stand before Crown Princess Mary, and if they see a little girl standing ready with flowers or another obvious opportunity to be photographed, they cross their fingers for Mary to see it too. And she never disappoints. She has an eye on every finger. Others may not notice the little girl with the flowers, but she does. Mary is always well informed about photographers. For example, several times she looked into the eyes of the crown princess, and thanks to that she was able to direct her and the rest of the company elsewhere so she could take good pictures. For example, when Mary was on a trip to Maine where she was given a chair in which Queen Ingrid sat, she immediately felt that the photographers had one big hope. Then she says, "I think I'll sit here on the chair," because she felt that's what the photographers wanted. She has an eye and a sense of what's good. She is very responsive and very persistent friendly, says Han Giel during her speech at Frederick's 50th birthday party in May 2018. Crown Princess Mary's routine and confidence shone through for the guests and Danish television viewers in attendance. Guests and Crown Prince Frederick were both moved to tears and laughter by Crown Princess Mary's first official speech in front of her husband. In it, she poked fun at her husband's antics in Lyra, but she also managed to strike a serious and sensitive note. It was like hitting a target without trying. She attributed her transformation from a nervous Mary Donaldson at the 2003 press conference to a confident and funny woman thanks to a stroke of luck. It was a long road, but her performance won over both the general public and industry insiders. That same year, she was honored with a Performance of the Year award from the Danish Speakers Association. The speech was lauded for several reasons, including its warmth and humor, as well as the fact that it was not a particularly royal tale but rather an ordinary family tale.